It was an offseason that we will all remember. And in the final season of the Pac-12 as we know it, comes Season 3 of the It Factory. It will be full of players that are on preseason watch lists, will be on future NFL draft lists. As always, we will take the helmet off of the top players on the West Coast and tap into who they are and why they stand out. I'm Yogi Roth, and welcome back to the It Factory. Welcome back, or welcome to the It Factory. I'm your host, Yogi Roth, and today is a first, as we've never done a podcast on a boat. That's exactly what Michael Penix, who's coming on for the second time on this show, did before the season in Seattle. We talked about why he came back to UW and what he expects to do at UW as they hit into week 3 in a huge game against Michigan State on the road. All right, we'll see if we can catch anything. Let's get another one. Way prettier.
Let's see.
Way prettier.
You gotta let it sink. Okay, hit the bottom.
Okay, so what does football and fishing have in common? I'm curious.
I would say mainly it could be patience. You know, if you think of fishing, it's like, okay, things could go good and you having fun, but if you're not catching it, maybe bad play or something, it could cause you to be like a little disturbed, you know. But I'm the type I'm so competitive. I wouldn't want to leave the lake without catching something. So I'll be out here 3-4 hours if I had to, even if I caught something small. So, you know, for me, it's just like, you know, just understanding that, you know, not everything is going to be right in your hands or like right how you want it, you know, but you just got to keep throwing and keep throwing punches, keep throwing the rod, and eventually something's going to happen.
Eventually you catch
Caught a
something.
little grass.
Catch a little grass.
Caught a little grass.
When did you start to fish? Like, when do you remember, like, casting your first rod?
I was like 5.
5 years old?
I was a kid, yeah. I mean, yeah, 5 probably. I cast my first one by myself. I would imagine my dad probably had me out before then, but obviously I couldn't throw before then. You know, but we had they have the kid ones. You got like SpongeBob on it or something. The little small ones you just throw out. It's probably gonna go like 10 yards at the most. So, you know, I started off with that. You know, but me and my dad, it's the way me and my dad bond. We always out fishing. Anytime I go home, I'm fishing 9 times out of 10. You know, every day. So all my friends, they know if I'm not responding, I'm on the lake somewhere. Don't text me. I'm trying to catch something.
If I told the young Michael Penix Jr. that you would be casting with this stadium in front of you, what do you think he would have said coming out of high school?
Man, I would have been like, that's crazy. I wouldn't really have believed it. You know, there was one day I was actually sitting on a roof in one of the apartment buildings around here, and I was just looking at the whole city of Seattle, and I'm like, I never seen nothing this beautiful like growing up. You know, growing up it was just like, I was almost like country living, you know, a lot of dirt roads and stuff like that. You know, I never was around a big city, you know, downtown and stuff like that. The city I grew up in was real small, so, you know, I never saw this, you know, but obviously football gave me the opportunity, and once, you know, I understood my talent and what I had in store, you know, I knew that one day I'd be able to do great things, and this is something great right here.
It is something great.
It is.
So paint a picture, like what was it like for you growing up?
Yeah, so I grew up in a small town. You know, my whole family is in the town that I grew up in on my dad's side. My mom's side is they live in New York, but small town called Dade City, Florida. Not much to do, you know, you find stuff to do. I was one of those kids that was outside all day, every day. But I'll say I lived a pretty good life, you know, growing up. I wouldn't say it was the best, you know. Obviously, you know, we didn't have everything that, you know, I wanted. I wanted an iPhone when it first came out. I had to wait till like the iPhone 7. It was a while before I was able to get an iPhone, but it was never a time where I was like, you know, I was concerned about, you know, not being able to, you know, do things that the other people, the kids in the neighborhood did. You know, my parents always provided food for us, provided, you know, things that we needed. It was always stuff that we need. You know, just being blessed and being in a position that I am now, you know, I can kind of get some of those things that I want, and, you know, one day I can do the same for my family as well.
Yeah, how did you balance like the discipline around what do I need to achieve some of my dreams versus what do I want that maybe others around me have or what I'm told I should want?
Yeah, that's just, for me, it was just my dad, just always continue to keep me level-headed. He never made me feel like I was too high or too low in any moments. He's always, instilled being humble, praying every day, just understanding that everything happens for a reason and nothing can happen without the man upstairs. So that's how I really went about a lot of things. And, I just continue to just do all I could to make sure that I could be able to live a life to help support my family. And, my dad, he made sure that he pushed me in those areas as well. Growing up, playing for him, he benching me if I'm not playing good, or if I forget my belt or forget some type of pad. It could be a pad at the facility. He's like, no, you're not playing, you're not responsible. Just teaching me discipline. At that age.
How old were you when that was happening?
Okay, so that actually happened in my all-star baseball game. Growing up, I think it was like 11, 12 years old. We had an all-star game, and I couldn't find my belt. He was like, no, like you got to be disciplined. He was teaching me discipline, but at that time I didn't know. So he's like, okay, you can go to the game, but you're not playing. So I'm sitting in the stands watching my all-star team play. It was the worst feeling. Yeah. All the guys in the dugout looking at me like, what you doing? I'm like, I forgot my belt.
Wow, I think that's fascinating because here you are at 11, taught this lesson, and you came in here to this stadium.
Right.
A year ago, you didn't win the job. Like, you were competing for the job.
Right.
But you did win over this team. You were captain.
Right.
And you weren't even here for a calendar year. Like, how do you, if you do, tie those two experiences together?
So yeah, that was just my dad just showing me nothing is just going to be given to me. It's levels to being great, and you got to be disciplined to be able to do that. And I feel like those small little things that I went through, not knowing at that age what he was putting me through to be able to get here are the reasons why I am here. And, I'm just super blessed to have him and, my mom as well, being a strong mother for us as well, continue to help us be the young men we are today. And I feel like, going through all those situations, it definitely helped me be to where I'm at today.
Coach Grubb, him and Coach DeBoer, these are two guys that you've known or gotten to know really well over the last couple of years in different settings.
Right.
Ever fish with them?
I haven't.
No?
I haven't.
How do you think they'd be?
I don't know. I don't even know if they fish.
Okay.
I don't even know if they fish. I believe Coach Grubb told me he asked before, but I haven't seen no evidence. I haven't seen no fish pictures yet.
When you talk about your relationship with those two guys, it's well documented. You and Kalen meet at Indiana. Mm-hmm. You're there. You had committed to Tennessee. You found your way to Indiana. He shows up. What was that like? And then when you found out that he was coming here, how did this thing even come to be with you in Seattle?
Yeah, so whenever he came in, it was like, a new coach, everybody wanted to get to know him, but obviously as a quarterback, I knew I had to build a relationship with him, stronger than anybody else, because him, the offensive coordinator and the quarterback, they work hand in hand. We got to know each other, we got to understand each other and what we're thinking so that whenever we get out there on the field, the processing is pretty easy. So him coming in, it was kind of awkward at first. Obviously new coaching, sometimes you got to get adjusted. Just going through that offseason with him, I was actually hurt, so I was coming off of an injury, but just being in the meetings and being out there in drill work and stuff like that, I understood that, okay, he truly knows what he's doing, and his offense and stuff like that he brought to Indiana, it was definitely something that I knew right away that could help us win football games, and it did. And whenever he got the call here, and I was in the transfer portal at that time, he was definitely the first person I was waiting for the call for him. So whenever I was able to get on the phone call with him, it was kind of easy for my decision, because I understood what I wanted.
But I think what's really fascinating, Mike, is that you've had ups and downs, like in your life. You weren't the biggest recruit coming out, get injured in Indiana, you have to transfer, rolling at IU.
Right.
And then here, this last season, epic year, led the nation in passing, as everybody knows. How have you managed highs and lows as a human being? And is this something that has been a part of your process to help you manage that?
Right. For me, highs and lows, I don't really tell my feelings to a lot of people. When I was going through some of the things I went through, it was things that went through my head that I didn't tell anybody, but I've always knew that, my little brothers were always looking for me and how much my parents sacrificed for me to be in the position that I was in. I never wanted to let them down. So it was never a time where I was like, I truly wanted to quit. I've had those thoughts, but, it's just times get hard. And my dad, he always, growing up, one of his sayings is winners never lose and quitters never win. So it's like, hey man, if you want to win, you can't quit. So for me, it was always, my dad, he never let me quit a sport growing up. That was one thing with him. He's like, no, you're never gonna quit. You're gonna finish it out no matter what. It don't matter what the record is of your team. It's like, it's no quitting. So, I feel like he instilled that into me, and and I just knew that, if I were to quit, I would have failed. To me, I felt like I would have failed him, failed my mom, failed my brothers as well, and my whole family and the people that support me. So I knew I couldn't do that. So I found my faith. I found God more, being able to be closer with God, just understanding that everything happens for a reason. And, I knew that I was still on a mission. I was still on a journey. And as long as I could physically play, I was going to, no matter what I went through.
Did you ever think about quitting?
Yeah, it was hard. 2021 season, it was real hard for me. A lot of people don't know. So coming into that season, I was coming back from my second ACL tear, and going through fall camp, it felt good. I felt pretty healthy. I'm like, okay, I'm ready to go. And then the Monday of first week of the game, I get a phone call from the doctor that did my surgery, and he's like, hey, you're not cleared yet from me, but if you want to play, then you could play. That wasn't news that I got going all the way through the season. I always thought, I was going to be good and I was ready to play. And getting that news, it definitely affected me in a negative way, not a positive way. It didn't allow me to play free. I was playing real timid because in the back of my head, it's like, if I have another season injury, like, I didn't want to play anymore. At that time, it was a lot of things that was going through my head. So it was real hard for me to focus that year. Ended up getting hurt again that year. It wasn't as serious. I separated my throwing shoulder. I guess you can't say that's pretty serious, but I knew it was something I could come back from. And even though I had those thoughts, it's just something in me. I just couldn't quit. Those times where the day of the game, I wake up and I wait till my roommate leave, and I just lay on the floor and I just cry to God, just praying that he protect me that day, because, I knew where my head was at that time. It wasn't truly fresh, and, it's a lot of tears, man. There's a lot of stuff I went through.
So as I walk around the building, everybody, when I ask them about Michael Penix Jr., the first thing they say is, he's such a great guy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, his humility is off the charts. And then the second thing is, real fast, he's an insane competitor.
Yeah.
Humility and competition, sometimes they don't always live together. How does that come about for you?
Yeah, just growing up, always being humble, just understanding that I had to work for everything that I was able to accomplish, and just whenever things get to those high moments, like, let's say, like winning a big game away at Oregon, getting the Apple Cup back, it's always like, I know the work that we put in as a team to get us there, that keeps me humble and keeps me so level and keep me so focused on what's next to come, because I understand that it took a lot to be able to achieve great. It takes a lot to be able to achieve great things, and I know I'm one of those guys that's going to try to push myself extremely hard to make sure that I don't let my team down. That's one of my main things. I don't want to let people around me down, and I'm going to do whatever in my power to make sure that I don't do that.
You got this relationship with your two brothers.
Mm-hmm.
What is that relationship like? What do you see as your role with two younger siblings?
Yeah, I just always wanted to show them the way, just create that path, because growing up, I can say that I was a victim to it. It's times where my dad would tell me some things, and I'm like, I really don't listen. But as soon as somebody else tell me, it's like, I'll do it. And, I never really noticed it until like one day I was called out for it by my dad, because my uncle must have told me something, and, I did it. But the same thing my dad told me like a week before. And, and I understand that, and it's like, whenever I ever feel like that, it's like, I know that my brothers, they'll listen to me.
What do you think they look at when they look up to you?
I feel like they watch everything I do. You see those people that are closer to in your shoes, where it's like, okay, I can relate to that because I'm closer to his shoes. So like when they see me, and they're playing football as well, so they see me make these plays. They see what comes with, being great and how to get there, and they see what I go through, my grind. When I come home, they know I'm going to go through with my friends from high school. They know that I'm going to go to the gym each and every day. When I go home, they see that, and they understand, okay, like my brother, he's a big name in college football right now, but they see why. They know what I do behind the scenes and stuff like that. So, just being able to be in front of them in that light, just letting them know like nothing will come easy. I always try to get them, when I go home, I try to get them outside too. The generation now it's a lot of video games, a lot of television, try to get my brothers away from that, because growing up I was always the kid outside. I'm outside playing football, playing basketball, something. Just try to be an influence to them in that way.
How do you feel about the word influence?
I feel like influence is, it could be positive and negative, but for me, the way I try to influence people around me, influencing my teammates to, do the right things, outside of the facility. What are you doing outside of the facility? Are you watching film enough? Or are you eating right? Are you creating those good habits for yourself, because at the end of the day, like you said, people are always going to watch you. It don't matter if you're the starting quarterback or if you're the backup safety. It doesn't matter. You're going to be watched because everybody in the city, once you're in college, everybody in the city, they can tell the football player from other people. It's like, okay, you're bigger, you're stronger than everybody else walking in the store. You have eyes on you all the time, just understanding that, just helping influence my teammates and understanding that whenever you see me out and they're around me, whenever we're all out, they see the way I act, my character, and, how I treat others, it shows them that, okay, this is how things should go. So I feel like I influence people a lot in that way.
But I feel like you continue to go out of your way to have a positive influence impact on others, like Eric Gill.
Mm-hmm.
He's a guy who's battling cancer.
Right.
Cal game ends, and you're fighting through the crowd to give him the game ball.
Yeah.
You never even met this guy, you just heard his story. Like,
right.
What leads you to do things that nobody's gonna necessarily know about?
Yeah, because I feel like for some people it comes in different ways. For me, I would say in his position, I can never compare what I've been through to his position, but I know I've been somewhere in times where, the game was taken away from me. Football was taken away from me for a temporary time, season-ending injuries, 4 years in a row. So, I just couldn't imagine, being in his shoes and what he has to go through, what he has to battle each and every day. And I feel like for me, he's a guy that looks up to this program, looks up to this team, and he truly has pride and dedication into giving his best effort for his life and what he has and fighting for it. But at the same time, he's still going to be a big fan for us. So it's like, why would I not give back to somebody that's given to me whenever they don't have as much as I have? The way that Eric attacked his treatments and the things that he had to go through, it showed that he's a true champion, and I wanted to make sure that, I was able to show him that I see the work that he's putting in, and I can feel, that he truly loves us, and we want to show that same appreciation back to him as well.
What's it like seeing your name everywhere now, having a Heisman candidacy kick off, and people around the country are saying Michael Penix for insert award?
Mm-hmm. I just say it just means that, I just have to lock in. For me, I don't really focus on those sayings, those phrases, all that. It's just, I'm so laser focused. I understand that at any second it can get taken away. Being brought up in those conversations is truly a blessing, but I still know all the work that I put in to get to here. And I know that if I were to stop doing that work, I wouldn't be able to get to what they are saying. So I know that each and every day I have to come in with the same mindset, the same dedication, and just focus on what I can do to help my team win football games, because you don't really see a Heisman winner with a losing team, with a losing season, So, in NFL teams, they want winners, So if I can't help this football team win football games, I shouldn't even be in that conversation at all. So I got to make sure I do that first.
You had a great quote where you said, "I'm not responsible for anybody's predictions about me." Mm-hmm. Where does that even come from? Do you really believe it? And how do you manage the amount of predictions about you and your life from people you don't know?
Yeah, it comes from adversity, because adversity can bring out the best or the worst in people. As far as people that's looking at me as someone that they see as a star player, or some people might see me as being bad. But just understanding that nothing that other people say can truly affect how I play, because if I let that happen, then I'm losing myself, and the game wouldn't be the same. So I have to make sure that I continue to keep that right mindset and focus on what I can control, because my main goal is to help my football team win football games.
What has the city of Seattle done for you?
Accepted me. I just feel like they accepted me with open arms, from day one. I've had people, throughout the city, always, wishing me luck, and, always continue to give me positive vibes, positive energy in my life. And, it definitely goes a long ways, especially coming from a different location. You don't really know what to expect. People didn't know who I was. They didn't know how good I was going to be, or what our team was going to be this past year, but all I knew I could do is continue to focus on what I had to do to help myself and help this team be great. And the fans, they support us, and they just open arms, since day one.
Why'd you decide to come back?
I just feel like it was a lot that I wanted to accomplish as a team that we didn't get to accomplish this year, and I feel like it's right there on the table for us. Obviously we understand, we know what it's like to win football games, and and this team, just having a lot of guys come back, and being able to be in the offense for a second year with this group, I knew that it definitely will bring out the best out of all of us, and a lot of people feel like they saw us at our best last year, but I don't believe it's close.
As you look out at this stadium here, you only got a select number of games here, but this place, that stadium, this experience has given you so much in your life. What do you think about when you imagine what the season could be, and then what this place will stand for in your life when it's all said and done here?
For me, I just think about everything I've been through, to get to this point, and, just being able to share the field with my teammates in this wonderful stadium, the greatest setting in college football. It just shows me all the work that I put through, and it just brings me back to all the work that I did to get to the point that I am at now.
Yeah. What are you most proud of yourself?
My dedication and my never quit mindset, because I know if it could be other people in my shoes that it could be too much for them. For me, at some point, I possibly did have that feeling, but, I understood what my dad instilled in me, and, just never quitting, always being that guy that's going to finish no matter what, and always going to give my all, each and every play, each and every day, because I know that people wish that they could be in my position. Not everybody can be in this position. And it's a small chance that you get to be able to be in a stadium like this, with all the kids that play football across the world. So it's just a blessing.
You got a talented arm, got an incredible demeanor. Your competitiveness is through the roof. But I feel like that's all people really know about you from the outside looking in. If there was one thing that you hope people knew about Michael Penix Jr., what would it be? That
it wasn't easy to get here. Everything that I've accomplished to this day, you know, it came with a lot of heartbreak, a lot of tears, you know, a lot of surgeries. It was rough, you know, but, you know, just understanding that I didn't take the easy path to get here. And I understood that, you know, going into, you know, each and every thing that I've accomplished, you know, I understood that nothing was going to be easy to be great, you know, so just understand that, you know, I'm more than just a football player, and, you know, and deep down inside as a person, you know, I'm a guy that's never going to quit, and I'm always going to give my all for the people around me.
Yeah, it's pretty obvious, man. I want to break some bad news to you. So you already know that I'm not a great fisherman, but I don't know, when you catch a fish, do you usually like eat it, cut it?
Yeah.
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 Fillet it. I came out to fish with you today, and I didn't catch anything, but I'm also a vegetarian, so I probably wouldn't have ate it anyway. So I'm sorry.
Dang, that's bad.
I know. I know. But thank you for teaching me how to fish.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
telling me some of your story, man.
For sure. Appreciate it, man.
You got it, bro.
Yes, sir.